If you guys get this question right, I will give you $100. If you're driving 80 miles per hour, how long does it take for you to go 80 miles?
80 hours.
All right, takes
80 hours?
70 hours.
80 hours?
Final answer.
80
70
hours.
hours.
80 hours.
Wow. Okay. Maribon, they're right? It is 80 hours. I don't see what's so funny about that.
Totally. You know, I've got my abacus in the back. I was, calculating, and they're right on. Right on.
The future of this country is bright, my friends.
As bright as a light bulb.
Everybody, welcome to the Maribon and Pete Anti-Influencer Show. What we are all about, we're not going to be teaching you how to become an influencer. We're the anti-influencer. So if you have a real passion, a real business that you want to get out there, something real to give to the world, not fake, then this is the show you need to be listening to on a regular basis. And today, my partner right beside you, he's going to teach us how right out of the gate to have a 5-figure launch, because that's what he was able to do. His name's Maribon Aranshad. Thank you so much for doing this with me. I'm excited, buddy.
I'm super excited too, Pete. I mean, we've got such a great rapport, and it was amazing to first, become friends with you many years ago, and you helped support it, what I was doing, which we'll get into, and just really excited to be on the show with you, obviously, and to try to help people, do the same of what we've been doing. So, kudos.
Yeah. Like I said, guys, I'm really excited to be on this with my buddy Maribon, and he started something. We're actually online tennis instructors. That's how we make a full-time, and we don't want to brag too much, but over a 6-figure income online by teaching tennis online, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. And Maribon came right out of the gate with something called the Tennis Summit, which we're going to talk to him about. And it was a 5-figure launch right out the gate. So can you kind of tell everybody your background with tennis, and then how you decided to do this tennis summit, and what does that even mean?
Yeah, so I'm a huge tennis nut. My dad took me to the courts when I was 7 and got hooked instantly, and played a lot of junior tournaments, pretty high level, and played some national tournaments, and was ranked, top 7 in the Mid-Atlantic section, whatnot, which is Maryland, Virginia, DC. And played in college, D1 at University of Maryland, Baltimore County. Went to law school and all that jazz. And then after that, it was a period where I was working in the legal field, and then also thinking about, how can I add another stream of income? And so I was listening to some podcasts just like you are now, and they advise, try to pick something that you think you would really enjoy, and be able to give value to a lot of people. So that was tennis for me, very naturally. So I spent a few months kind of trying to figure out how to accelerate the business, and then I figured out how to launch an online conference. So I'll stop there to see if you have any follow-up questions before I keep going.
Well, I have some follow-up questions, but even more for the people who might be listening to this is, if your thing isn't tennis, that's not what this is about. This is about a passion. This is about something maybe you consider yourself an expert on, something that you're trying to get off the ground. So tennis is our example, but what we both have learned are the fundamentals of what actually works online. That is a mathematical equation that is solvable. It's not about getting more likes, comments, and shares. It's not about making a fool of yourself just to get somebody to watch your video. This is about something that you're proud of. If you have that you can figure out how to launch and make money. That's really what we're going to be talking about today, and on so many of our anti-influencer podcasts. And so let's get right into it. So what is a tennis summit, and why did you decide to do it?
Yeah, so I was, again, trying to figure out like how to increase my audience, increase revenue. And, I had started, as I mentioned, a blog as well as a podcast. And, things didn't quite accelerate, as I wanted. I mean, obviously it's tough out there, right? I tried, doing opt-ins, like where you just create a piece of valuable content and people opt into your newsletter and you get, people that way. And it was doing like pretty decently. I got up to like 1,000 subscribers in a few months, but then I was researching, other techniques, and then I came across this, and actually I think it was a Facebook ad for, which is another effective way to market, but for online summits, online conferences. And what really sold me about them was all the different examples of different conferences in like so many different fields. I mean, incredible, like how to play a harp, for example, real estate, crypto, like all these different things. And, there were like actual numbers of like how these people who held these conferences by taking this course were doing. And so I decided, you know what? It seems a little scary. Obviously, it's going to be a lot of work, but let me just take action and take this course. And so I took the course, and it had step-by-step layout for what to do. And there's also a nice community as well. So shout out to them, Virtual Summit Mastery, actually. And so, yeah, I just followed the steps, took action, and, I would help me a lot, actually, if you have follow-ups on this, was my podcast, where I had already started establishing relations with some really high up people in tennis, including yourself, Pete. And so I was able to get like a good crop of coaches to this online conference, where the whole goal of it was to help players improve their game. And this first one that I did was actually on tennis technique. So hitting forehands, backhand serves, etc. And so, yeah, I got Pete and around, I think maybe like 23 or 24 others, and, launched that. And made well over 5 figures, which was awesome for me, coming from, not really making any money. Before that, really just like hearing a few dollars here and there with ads and stuff, like AdSense, I think. So yeah, that was really great.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what I want people to kind of learn from this is might be a great pathway to kind of come right out of the gate with guns blazing, because I know Maribon did his tennis files, so he's building relationships, but I did not hear of him yet, and I had been online for a little while and had an established online business, and it took me a long time, a lot longer than Maribon, to really start even making thousands of dollars online. Like it was a grind. And then when I first saw Maribon's tennis summit, I think I even asked to be invited to it. I don't even think he asked me. I think I said, hey, I want to do this, because I could see the way he had it laid out and structured, that this is a no-brainer to be a part of, because he's going to have the best traffic in the industry, meaning eyeballs in the industry of what we do watching us. So it's like a no-brainer to want to be a part of. So if you are somebody who you're like figuring, well, I have this passion, but I have like not many followers. I have a little bit of followers, and I don't have like a product developed yet. Like, this is a great way to just come loaded with stuff. The coaches who are highly respected coaches online are providing the content, so the content is top notch, and then you as the summit creator are bringing the traffic. You're bringing the eyeballs. But here's the beautiful thing, which we'll get into a little bit later: the actual coaches involved bring the traffic for the creator. So it's absolutely an ingenious idea. And the creators are going to want to be, the coaches, whatever your niche is, are going to want to be involved in this thing. So kind of talk about what were some of the power moves that you made, the correct things you did, besides just starting getting connections with people, but the actual copy you wrote, the way things were structured. What made it attractive for somebody like me and other people in our industry to want to be a part of, to actually want to ask you to get into this?
Yeah, I mean, a few things. Great questions, Pete. I mean, first off, especially at the time, it was quite unique. Actually, still is. In terms of like doing a conference that's online for tennis, and then also the exposure, because it's like it's it's a conference and there'll be a bunch of eyeballs on you. And so, that was a big part of it too, telling the instructors, the exposure that they would get. And then it also was very appealing to them as well, because Pete and I participate in a lot of these affiliate launches where, if somebody promotes a product for us, then they get a cut of it, which, generally speaking will be 50%. So on top of the exposure, they also get the monetary payments, if they make a sale through a unique link that I provide for them. And yeah, I mean, that was hopefully that answered some of your questions, Pete.
Yeah, absolutely. As somebody who here's why I love to be part of his summit, just so you can kind of know, like, if you create a summit, well, why would somebody want to do this with me? Because we always kind of feel insecure about ourselves, and why would anybody want to work with us? And like I said, I had my business established, but when I saw this, I wanted in. And what I saw was, okay, if this is true what he's saying, all the top people in the industry are going to be sending emails out about the summit. So that means that a lot of people are going to have their eyeballs on this, and they're already like the best traffic. So I know that they're full of buyers as well. So buyers are part of this. I'm like, great. So it's not just people watching, it's people who love this stuff to another level where they're willing to buy. And then, so I'm going all in, because if I can maybe make one great video or even two great videos, or I got to be part of his live streams. We did live streams during the week, and I'm like, I want to be on as many times as possible, because during that week where other people might be thinking, oh yeah, well, I'll do this as a favor, whatever. I don't know if there's people thinking like that, but I think some people take it more or less serious than others. But I think the people who don't take it as seriously are missing out. They're like, well, I'll just send an email or two and I'll just create a piece of content and put it in and then kind of be done with it. I thought the exact opposite. I'm like, I want to make a really great video every year for this guy. Mm-hmm. Anytime he goes live, it'll have me on, because I want people out of the summit to remember me. I want them to go, yeah, that guy was a big part of Maribon Summit, which I loved. And then plus, that also made my list more apt to want to buy it as well, which I would get 50% commission. And I think for the last 2 or 3 years, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I've been the top affiliate on this thing. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's why I held my finger up for those just listening on audio, because you've been crushing it. Thanks to your dedication, man.
Yeah. And so it's nice. So when I do this for Maribon, I can typically make, I think, between like $6,000 and $9,000 in just a week or so promoting it. Plus I get a lot of exposure. Mm-hmm. And so that is the real benefit of doing something like this. Now, one thing I want to go back to, one thing you did, and I wanted to know where you learned this, because I think a big mistake, people out there online, even if they're not trying to be influencers, they're trying to get some kind of following on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook, wherever they're trying to get it. And they typically think they're going to build their business on there. They might not even know what an opt-in is, or why are you building your email list? Why did you decide to get opt-ins right away? Why was that important to you? Where did you learn that?
Yeah, great question. I mean, I learned that, to be honest, and just, giving credit to people like Pat Flynn from Smart Passive Income, but it just, the power of the newsletter, that your subscriber list, because when you create this newsletter and you have these subscribers, like, that's really the best way to communicate, because at any time you can email them. Whatever email you want, you can say, hey, how's it going? Like, what would you like to learn about today? You can email them about a product, anything you want, as opposed to, Instagram, and even YouTube, although we'll talk about how YouTube is much better, but with Instagram, especially, like, you're at the mercy of the algorithm. Like, not everybody who's in your follower is going to see your post. Also with Instagram, like, there's no clickable links except in your profile. So that's also a big negative. But yeah, the newsletter is just an incredible resource. It's so personal as well. There's so many subscribers that I've emailed that they think it's like I'm emailing them individually, because, you have obviously these placeholders for the name, like once you get them subscribed and whatnot. So it's really a beautiful thing with that. And Pete, I also did want to go back to mention, I don't know, would you like me to talk about, like, more about how I got the coaches on as well, because I think you might have asked about that, and maybe I didn't go into it in enough. But
Yeah, I would like you to go into that, but then I just want to say one thing for the people listening too, just to really drive home the point of how important it is to have growing your email list as part of your online business, is that Russell Brunson, who's created a company called ClickFunnels, where, I mean, it's $100 million business plus. He made this thing called traffic secrets, which is basically eyeballs on whatever you're doing. And he says there's traffic that you pay for, there's traffic you buy, and that would be an ad, like a Facebook ad, a YouTube ad, an Instagram ad. There's traffic you earn, which would basically be organic traffic. Organic traffic means traffic that you're posting out there on social media, whatever the platform is, and people find it through your hard work and putting it out there time and time again to where they finally start to notice you. And then there's traffic that you own. And wouldn't you want to own as much traffic as possible? Yes. And that's your email list, because you have a lot more control over it. And typically it's just a higher level of somebody who's into what you're doing. They have committed, they've raised their hand and said, I want more information from you. And then they pay more attention to your offers and will buy more. So talk about how did you get these coaches into the summit more specifically?
Yeah, I think it's really important that your first impression is very important, obviously, right? And I've seen people make a lot of mistakes, when they ask people to do things. A lot of times, individuals will have like just the benefits for them in mind, or maybe they're not as curious as they could be. So I did have obviously like kind of a template moving forward, but I would personalize it and individually email each coach and just say something to the effect of, hey, like, I've watched your videos, I really like your work, keep up the great work. And then I'm hosting a tennis conference coming up, in April, called the Tennis Summit, and I would love for you to be on it to help the audience learn more about, let's say, the forehand technique, and if we could just have maybe a quick chat, that would be, I'd love to do that, just to get to know you better as well. And that was pretty much it. So I would really try to do the pre-chats because, well, that's what they called it in the course. But, that would forge an even deeper connection than simply like the email. In some cases, the coaches would say like, I'm down to do it. And, we don't need to do the call. But I think just, having the right approach about your emails, and being courteous, being complimentary, and also there were some people in the course or who hadn't taken the course but tried to do conferences and other niches where they would like require them, like right out the gate, they're like, hi, I'm having a summit. I will require you to send like 6 emails during the, like when a coach sees that, it's a turnoff, So the approach that we took in the course was to not require emails being sent, but just more of to like inform them like, hey, by the way, you can promote it and then you can get a commission, things like that, like just more of like an education part of it style. So I thought it was just very important to reach out in this manner and to kind of make it more of a collaboration, and also to show them the benefits they would get. Like, you get exposure, you get the affiliate sales potential and things like that. And so I did that. And obviously, and for some of the coaches, I would have to like find alternate ways of communicating besides email. It would maybe be like just DMing on Instagram or Twitter, things like that. So however I could do it. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's another genius thing. And going back to something, Russell Brunson's biggest pet peeve, we just talked about him. He created ClickFunnels, and he says one thing that I can't stand is that, I'll have people who start a conversation with me, I'll engage them, and then they'll say something like, hey, can I be on your show, or can you send an email for me? Because logically, as people, we're going, well, how can I get to the next level? Oh, that guy's like 5 or 6 levels ahead of me. If they could send an email for me or do something, promote me in some way, that would drive my business through the roof and I'd get a big head start. And the beauty of this is what you did is you didn't really say, hey, send an email for me. it was a summit. So it was like, we're support. It's all of a sudden a built-in community where we're supporting the event, and there's something in it for everybody. It's the way that you laid out your website and everything. It was very apparent that right away, of course, there's something in it for you. I mean, right. I'm not naive, but,
sure. Yeah.
but I realized right away, like, oh yeah, there's definitely something in it for me here. So,
Yes.
that is a great way if you're trying to figure out, well, how do I, I'm just kind of going along here and I'm trudging along, and my list, I haven't even thought about growing an email list. That was a great idea, Maribon. I'll try that. But you're just figuring out things are not going fast enough for me. What can I do to break into an industry? This is a great way to do it if you do it right. If you do it right, people will not think that you're being greedy and stealing their list from them, and it's only, what's in it for you. They're going to be thinking, yeah, this is a win-win. That's the beauty of the summit. So let's move forward to the structure of the actual summit. If people are kind of getting excited about it, because obviously the more you can monetize it for your affiliates and convert into sales, the more affiliates are going to want to be part of it, right? I mean, if Maribon did his first summit and like it didn't really make any sales and the list didn't really grow that much, then probably he wouldn't be able to be on his. Is this year going to be your 8th coming up now?
Yeah, it's amazing to think about. Yeah, the 8th.
Yeah,
one.
so he's now going to be going to his 8th. So I mean, this is proven to work year after year. And the reason why that is because every year, a lot of eyeballs see it, which makes the coaches happy. And for the people who promote it, they're able to make a nice little chunk of change in a short amount of time. So how is the summit structured to where people are able to make income from it?
Yeah, it's a pretty cool structure. And again, I don't take credit for it. It's from the Virtual Summit Mastery course, but what it is, it's kind of two-tiered in a sense. So for a week, about, you can make it however long you want, but it's about like 5 to 6 days, and it's videos each day. So like it's mostly videos that are submitted by coaches who have recorded in advance, because it's obviously very difficult to pull off like every single session being live stream. That's tough for like schedule wise, just for everybody. But you do have, let's say 4 to 5 videos per day, maybe more. And then you also have maybe 1 or 2 live streams each day, if you'd like. Obviously, some variation. But then in terms of like the monetary part of it, it's very cool because you allow people to watch the videos. And the way that we've structured it is once a video goes up, then the viewer can watch it for 48 hours from when that video goes up. So let's say day 3's videos will be up until day 5. And so that's the free part. But then if people want to have lifetime access to the videos, and we also throw in a bunch of bonuses and whatnot, which, we could talk about now or another session, then they would pay a fee for that. It would be a one-time fee of anywhere between, we've done 67 to 97 depending on when they buy, and yeah, there's a lot of techniques surrounding that. But yeah, so I've gotten probably around, let's say like 7% who would go from the free opt-in and viewing to paid. And then you can also tack on, upsells and downsells as well, to make the cart value even more. Cart value being, just how much that they, on average, buyer will pay. Will pay you. So, yeah, that's pretty much the structure monetarily. And then, there's obviously, you pick like a deadline day for the whole thing, and then that drive sales as well. And then we've done live streams with Pete and others where we'll give a special bonus for those people who are watching for a limited time as well. So that's another technique to drive up sales. But yeah, it's basically you've got the free and then you've got the paid, and people who watch the videos, let's say it's extremely difficult to watch all 40 videos or whatever it's been lately, right? So then they're going to want to be able to unlock all the videos. So paying like 67 and 97 bucks, like depends on the niche, but that's what we've been doing, for all this content, in one piece of content, like 1 minute of one video can like change their game, permanently, right? So people find it very valuable to purchase this content. So yeah, hopefully that gave you some insight there.
Yeah, I have a couple of follow-up questions, and then this also just a note for everybody listening. Some of you might understand like 7% out of 100%. If you know online marketing, like that's pretty damn good. Others of you might be going, "Wow, he struck out 93% of the time. That kind of sucks." But that is really a great number, and 7% is like really good. Like for example, I've even seen some videos from Frank Kern, who's one of the godfathers of marketing online, and he'll talk about how some of his launches he was happy and made a killing, selling 1 to 2% of his list on some of these launches. So
right,
7% is quite high. Anytime you're over 5%, you're doing very well. And again, this is why one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to do this anti-influencer podcast is that to have people understand that the bigger your email list gets, the more income you're going to make, because obviously if you just get 7% and you have 10 emails, that's not anything to be happy about. But if you have thousands and thousands of emails, and every time you add more emails to the pot, that 7% gets bigger. So let's also talk about how this thing has been able to grow, because every year you do this, you get a nice boost of emails, and the traffic again is premium traffic. So if you could go through, because I know some people are very interested to find out, well, how much is a 5-figure and how did it scale? So you're getting ready to go into your 8th year. Could you go through maybe the first couple of years, ballpark the numbers if you're comfortable, and then your last couple of years where you've been?
I'm more than happy to. So actually, yeah, I was interviewed about my summit as well, a little while ago. So I like created a slideshow and everything. So yeah, I have notes here.
Wait, let me stop you there, because I know this, because Maribon's very modest, if you guys can't tell whether you're listening or watching. The guy who made the course was so impressed with what Maribon did, he wanted you to speak on it, right? Because you were a pretty good success story from this.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, no, I appreciate it, Peter. Yeah, when I saw the case studies and I got the course, I remember just messaging the founder, Naveed Moazzez, shout out to him. But I told him like I'm gonna be like your case study in the future. And after a few years, like he saw like the acceleration and how I did, and I became a case study, and he interviewed me actually a few times. And it was really fun. So yeah, it was cool. You put your mind to something, you can do it for sure. But yeah, so in terms of my numbers, I'll give you some of the years and the revenue. So first summit ever. Keep in mind, like I didn't have any like paid products before this, which what Pete mentioned. That's why this is like an amazing thing, like to just launch like this. But yeah, my first summit got around 4,000 subscribers, and revenue was $21,000. So that was cool. Some of that revenue went to affiliates, but still like very cool to have that sort of monetary outcome. And then, obviously each year try to improve different aspects of the summit. So second summit went to, I got 5,000 subscribers and about $30,000 of revenue. Let's see a couple more. And then third summit, 5,600 subscribers, $38,000 in revenue. And then just keeps going. Remember what I just said for Summit 3, right? Summit 4, 13,754 subscribers.
Wow.
86,711 in revenue.
That's some serious money. And guys, just so you know, these summits are about a week and a half long. So
yeah,
and the actual content when people are watching it is 1 week. It's basically Monday through Friday or Monday through Saturday, and then you close it. So I mean, this is a lot of money coming in quick. This is the people basically work their whole year and don't get this. Most people. So
yeah,
$86,000 in a couple of weeks is pretty incredible. All right, keep going.
Yeah, thanks. So I appreciate it, man. So this slideshow, I think, ended here. However, I do know that my fifth summit was around like 92K.
Okay.
And like, I think the subscribers was probably like around similar. So yeah. And then like, I think the last couple years it went down a little, a little bit, but it was still around that like 80K marks, high 70s, low 80s, something like that, like probably. And yeah, it was interesting because that jump from the 30, whatever it was, 37, 38K to 86K. That was also like 2020, which obviously, that was an interesting year. But so yeah, it's been great. I mean, obviously you do get like a bunch of unsubscribes and stuff from people, who maybe they're like, they just signed up for the free stuff and they leave and stuff. But my list is like pretty big. It's like well over like 24K or something like that. But yeah, it's good. It's good. So the summits have been like really huge for me, and they just afforded me like a really quick start, like just building relationships, like initially from the podcast and then also with the summits. And now like I basically know like every top coach in the industry and like some professional players as well. So yeah, I mean, I think just generally speaking, like when you can collaborate, because like I think a lot of influencers, so to speak, and content creators, like they might have this like, I mean, it's fine to be competitive, right? Like me and Pete are competitive, and we like to do well. Like like Pete loves it when he's my top affiliate, and I love it too, and I try to do the same for him. But
which you are, by the way, and
Thank you.
and that's another thing I want to get into, but keep going.
Sorry, yeah, and so, but you don't want to close yourself off. I know some actually, even like in the tennis industry, some coaches who are closing themselves off in terms of like promoting other people, and then people don't promote them, and they lose out on a lot of growth and revenue. So yeah, just collaboration is great in any form, like the summit, and like even if you're making other content, like imagine like you make content and now like you have other people in it, other content creators, and then now they're telling their audience about it, then people learn about you, and then now they visit your stuff. I mean, that's how I've followed like other people. Like I've gotten to know other creators from them being on my favorite creators video. So yeah, it's a great technique.
Yeah, I mean, another reason why at least I want to do this for people is that you look at people online and you're always wondering, well, how much are they making? And then you have the ultimate gurus who are telling you that they're making $100 million, and maybe they are. But also, I don't think that even though what they're doing at their level works, I don't think it's very realistic for a lot of people to come out of the gate, or even smart to do what they're kind of teaching you. Like Alex Hormozi's one. Like a lot of his tips are great, but then also he even mentioned on one of his lessons that he was given online that, I mean, he's spending like $100,000 a month on content to be made for him. So that's just not realistic for people to do right off the bat. And then the other thing is that people assume that the bigger the number is, especially if we're just talking about a social media influencer number, then that automatically must mean more money. And I think, especially with a lot of niches, it's more going to come down to quality over quantity, and what is the size of specific list. And the best example I can give is there is one of our people that promotes, and they actually do a great job of promoting. For Maribon does the tennis summit. I do something called TennisCon, which is very similar, and I have other things. But when this guy promotes, and he does a great job, and he's a great coach, there's nothing wrong with the person. He's got, I think, over 300,000 followers on Instagram. Now, depending on your niche, you might go, that's nothing. But in tennis, that's a lot. Okay, that's a big number.
Yeah.
And he barely makes a sale. Maribon, on the other hand, what is your number on YouTube? How many YouTube subscribers do you have?
I think I'm up to like, what is it, like 4,000-ish or something like that? Pretty sure.
4,000. So
yes,
I want you guys to remember that number. He's got 4,000 YouTube subscribers, but he's got 24,000 emails, which is a lot. But it's not like everybody online is always bragging about massive numbers. massive. Everything's got to be 1 million, right, before you can make a living. But he's got 4,000 followers on YouTube, which for a lot of people, they wouldn't be impressed by that, especially since everybody's over inflating every idea out there in the world. And then 24,000 emails, which is a lot, but it's not like something outrageous, but it's high quality traffic. It is.
Yes.
He basically has the golden ticket to traffic on his email list because he started this summit. So even people who have been in our industries for even over a decade, have massive followings on YouTube, Instagram, now even TikTok. Even some of these people have bigger email lists than him. Maribon is my top affiliate as well, because it's about the quality of his list. And I really want people to understand that, especially if they're trying to just get started. They realize that probably going from making no money online to making $1 million or $5 million, like some of these gurus just try and teach and put in your face, is probably not very realistic. Gosh, wouldn't it be great to just make $1,000, $10,000 online? This is a much more proven way to do it. You have anything to add to that?
Yeah, no, I mean, very wise words, my friend. And it's just very important that you keep abreast of a lot of different factors. Obviously, like your types of emails that you're sending as well. Like, and I'm sure we'll get into like copywriting techniques and frequency, things like that. Considering not burning out your list, but yeah, it's the summit's been great because like you said, I've gotten the most passionate tennis players from each of the coaches that I've worked with on the summit or otherwise, and yeah, you just try to nurture them and then give them good content and help them out, and then they'll be loyal to you and want to buy your stuff. And like it's a lot of times I'll get emails from people who are they care so much about you getting the affiliate sale. They're like, hey, just want to let you know I purchased Pete's Tennis Con all access package, and I just want to make sure that like you get the credit. And like, so yeah, it's, I mean, I really feel grateful for sure for the great quality type of people that I have on my list, and I definitely owe it to the summit. That was definitely like, if I didn't do the summit, I would just have like a few thousand people, and I'd still be kind of struggling as far as revenue goes. But now it's opened up a lot of doors, and the summit also so much content that you can reuse and clips and stuff like that, and repurpose content. So yeah, it's been really good.
Yeah, it's been amazing. And I think that that's maybe a good thought to end on too, that Maribon just mentioned, is it's about people and relationships. First, he cultivated the relationships within the niche with the world's best coaches, literally online for tennis. And he's very well respected, trusted, everything. He has not pulled a fast one on anybody in all these years. And so there's that. And then also the people, even though we're talking about the excitement of launching a business and the pure numbers of it, which is exciting, and the revenue and life freedom and how much money you're going to make, the more you come at it with, we're actually providing a great service for great people who love what we love. And the more you do this and the more emails you get from people, you realize these are just not all about numbers. These are real people. The reason why they decide to watch the summit is they love tennis. The reason why they decide to buy something is because they love tennis and want to get better. And then they start to develop a bond with the actual instructors. And the more you do that, rather than, trying to be the world's greatest influencers and taking selfies in front of, all these ridiculous places, then I think that that's the best way to build a business and be super proud about what you're doing. And that's really what we want to help people with on this stuff. So I think I like it. I think this is pretty good. What do you think? Should we go anywhere else with this, or is there anything else you want to say?
No, I think that's a good ending point for today. And yeah, I just want to reiterate, how much more I think fulfilling it'll be for you to, find your talent and then help others, in any aspect of their lives, improve it, rather than, just like pure, like stupid, dumb entertainment, like we witnessed in the very beginning of today's episode, at least if you watch the video. So yeah, just looking forward to helping everybody with you, Peter. And you've been doing such a great job, and you're definitely a model for that type of content and having successful business, doing what you love. So yeah, I'm just excited for future episodes, and hope you enjoy this one.
All right. Great job. Take care, Maribon. Awesome talking to you.
Thanks, Pete. You too. Take care.